Hello, this is Mark. This session is part of a series I've made called Sleep with Mark. If you ever want more, you can just search for that name. You'll find the rest waiting. And for now, you might already be noticing something. A kind of softening in the air around you, like a sky that's beginning to quiet just before the first stars appear. Some evenings carry that hush, a feeling that something gentle is already close by. And you can begin to welcome that quiet into your breath, because you may already recognize and remember that kind of quiet. As you rest in this moment, you can begin to notice a kind of stillness in everything around you, and your breath can begin to settle into a calmer rhythm. You might just notice a sense of rest beginning to form from within, like the way the land becomes still at night, even before the light fades, or the way trees hold their shape as the sky changes behind them. Perhaps this moment can begin to settle more now, like the hush of a quiet room, and you can begin to soften that quiet. And as you settle even more, in whatever way suits you best, you might begin to notice the shape of stillness around you. You can notice a kind of quiet at the edges, like the stillness at the end of a long path, when even the trees seem to listen. Perhaps you can sense a kind of softness in the air, and you might already notice how quietly and gently your breath can respond. Just sense how your shoulders rest here, and perhaps notice the surface beneath you offering support, and you can get a sense of a kind of steadiness that feels just right. You might begin to notice how some sounds still linger near, and others can drift off further, as though the world around you is beginning to settle more and more with each moment. settle into whatever posture suits you, you can just notice some part of you already reaching into something even calmer, something that feels more familiar than thought. Perhaps you notice a sense of space just beyond all the doing, and that feels like it's beginning to open in its own time. A kind of threshold you may already be standing near, where something begins to feel more inward, more remembered. And you can perhaps begin to notice your chest lifting and falling with a kind of ease that feels natural, and a kind of gentle steadiness with each breath. And you can allow your breath to find the pace that suits this stillness. And with each return, you may sense a kind of deepening, like a soft unfolding toward the center of things, gathering inward with quiet intention. You may perhaps sense this moment like walking slowly into evening light, while somewhere further in, a quiet place, calming, safe and wonderful, a place of shelter may already be beginning to receive you. And this space may already be offering something gentle, as though it recognizes you. And you can begin to notice the hush around you even more, like a welcome that quietly unfolds, and a continued moment of peace may be present, a kind of gentle, quiet stillness, comfort, and that quiet might be like the pause between leaves, just before the wind stirs again. And now you might begin to notice the breath even more closely. Perhaps flowing first in the chest, and then moving gently through the whole shape of you. Perhaps you notice the breath moving, like it's exploring, perhaps touching one space and then another, and each time returning with something even quieter than before. You can sense the inhale gathering softly, and you might begin to notice the exhale as though it already knows where to go. You can begin to soften your breath further into this calm, just enough to allow the body to listen in the way a hillside listens to the wind. Some people notice the breath as a kind of rhythm, and you might begin to notice that rhythm now, moving through the back, the sides, down through the hips, and out again. Other people may notice it like warmth, rolling in from the edges of the limbs, settling into the belly, and spreading from there. And you might begin to sense that kind of warmth too, gathering gently wherever it wants to be. And perhaps for you, there's a different kind of gentler presence, and you might notice it arriving in the quiet between each breath, as though something familiar is beginning to return. And perhaps you might sense your spine meeting the surface beneath you, the way roots meet soil, steady, receptive, belonging. Just notice the arms where they rest now, perhaps a little heavier than before, as though some part of them remembers calmness that once felt familiar and may be returning more and more. You might notice the back of your head resting more in a comfortable heaviness by the fabric or the pillow or even just the air. You may notice the space beneath your neck softening, as the breath continues, bringing a kind of quiet presence. You might sense the ribcage easing open and then settling back again, as though something familiar has found its way back to you. And as that continues, you can become aware of the sounds closest to you, how some stay steady and others shift each one settling into the quiet that's around you. And the temperature too may touch your skin in different ways. Cooler in one place, warmer in another, and you can begin to notice how the body responds in its calm comfort, a kind of patchwork of sensation, steady in places, softening in others, and you might notice how they all belong right now. And you can allow your awareness to rest lightly on your hands. And you may begin to notice a gentle warmth spreading inward from the fingertips. You might also become aware of the feet now, the way the toes rest, as though stillness has settled there. And perhaps you can notice how more of the body begins to settle more with each breath. And the breath and body can begin to ease deeper into stillness. Just notice how your breath moves through the chest and belly now, softening a little more, one breath at a time. And now you can begin to feel your awareness turning further inward. With each breath, you can sense a gentle step inward along a path that forms only as you follow it. You can follow the calmness that moves just one breath ahead, like a hand drifting across cool stone along a wall that feels ancient and kind. Perhaps you can sense a kind of deepening, a movement that feels more like a slow return to something familiar beneath thought. Some people say it feels like feathers drifting through water. And you might begin to notice each breath carrying more weightlessness now, a little more hush with every return. Others speak of steps, perhaps moss-covered, winding down through time-softened places. And you can follow your own path inward at your own pace. And perhaps your body can begin to remember how to follow that quiet path follow that quiet inward pull. And perhaps this moment can feel like a gentle in-between, as though the world behind you has softened, faded, and the space ahead may feel more spacious still, and you can allow your mind to drift deeper into that calm comfort. And part of you may be walking, while another part may already be waiting. You can notice your awareness quietening now, like a light dimming or a thought softening as it continues gently along the path that's opening. If there were numbers here, they could pass like steps underfoot, gentle and steady, and you can notice the way your breath deepens as they pass. 10, a quiet invitation opening inwards. 9, a sense of softening, as though the air itself is beginning to listen. 8, a hush gathering behind the ribs, like night settling beneath the trees. 7, the spine resting deeper into its shape, as though shaped by ancient stillness. 6, a drifting warmth in the hands, returning like an old kindness. 5, something loosening in the jaw, like a clasp unfastened. 4, a pulse of stillness behind the breath, echoing with quiet recognition. 3, the ground below, more familiar than before, as though it's always known you. 2, a pause that doesn't need a reason, like still water holding the sky. 1, and now the threshold softens as something within can allow you to feel deeply rested. Perhaps you're arriving at the edge of something familiar, a place whose shape feels known, even without words. And your breath may already know the way in. And perhaps the breath has brought you into a quieter place, a moment that can feel a little more like home, in a place that may feel both deeply comfortable in shape and deeply known by the breath. Somewhere deep in the quiet places inside your mind, shelter may already be forming, not made, but revealing something that's always been there. And you may begin to notice its edges now, gently rounded, softened by time, as though this place has always known how to welcome you, like bark that gives a little under the hand, or earth that receives your shape and holds its warmth there. Perhaps the entrance to this shelter isn't even a door, just a space between trees, and you can begin to notice the feeling of being quietly invited into this safe place of shelter. And once you arrive inside, there may be a kind of hush, like moss welcoming each sound so softly, and you can begin to sense the breath more clearly than before. The light here may feel low and kind, like the glow of firelight behind curved stone, and you can begin to settle into the warmth that this light carries. You can rest into the atmosphere of this place, the way a coat just comfortably finds its hook, guided by something quiet and familiar. Some people feel this space as warmth, spreading outward from the chest, and you may notice something different, a scent perhaps that reaches you like a story returning, cedar wood, dry earth, or a breeze that carries a trace of rain. Whatever that might be for you, you may feel textures brushing your awareness, the soft give of forest floor beneath you, a worn blanket folded nearby, or the comforting resistance of a wooden wall against your back. Here, everything may already feel complete, as though this space was always meant for resting, and any part of you that has worked to protect or stayed ready out of care might now feel recognized and begin to soften more deeply into this shelter's quiet welcome. This place recognizes care, the kind that lives in thoughtful minds and hearts that attend deeply to what matters. And all of that is welcome here. And even those thoughtful parts may begin to rest this shelter might receive even what arrives gently, including the parts still learning how to rest more deeply now. Perhaps there's a nook, a quiet curve in the corner where the hush seems thicker, or a hollow near the wall where the breath feels deeper somehow. And you might feel gently drawn to rest there. And as you do so, you may notice that something may be long carried within you, and how that can begin to soften. And you can just get a stronger sense of safety and calm and belonging from this place of safety and shelter. Some people speak of this as being seen by a kind of presence that feels deeper than vision. Others describe it as a remembering, the feeling of once being held by something steady and quietly accepting. And maybe here that calm sense of security can continue in your own breath and in the quiet that moves through this place. Perhaps you can hear the hush of wind moving across bark, or the slow, gentle creak of wood settling in the way your body may be settling now. Just notice how those sounds move around you and through you, like a lullaby in a language older than thought, a soft comfort of calm. Somewhere in this shelter there may be an object that feels like it belongs to you. A book, a token, or a stone, smoothed by the memory of your hands. And just by being near it, you may sense something familiar returning, like the warmth of a story that remembers you. You can let that warmth settle into your chest now, like a calm that moves with your breath, or a quiet weight, steady and kind, that holds you in the way stillness can hold light. And your breath may now be longer and softer, settling into something that really suits this quiet safety, as though it's wrapped itself in comfort and found the calm rhythm that suits it best. And if there's a window here, you may notice how the view holds its own calm presence. Perhaps a line of quiet trees in the distance, or a softness that feels like night settling in. This place may carry just what's needed, as though it's always known how to hold you and care for you, and you can rest in the sense that this shelter remains quiet and constant as you continue to drift deeper into calm comfort. The shelter may stay open the way quiet places do, simply allowing you to be, like the way that quiet holds the space around words, or how breath carries a kind of stillness all on its own. And all of this now can become part of you, just as this place may already carry something that recognizes you. And even now, your awareness may rest even more deeply within the breath, moving in a calmer rhythm. And you can allow your awareness to drift with that rhythm, as though the breath just knows how to guide you inward, and the shelter around you may begin to feel like part of the air, settling close against your skin. You might notice how stillness deepens into the body, between the ribs, at the base of the skull, behind the knees, as though each place has found its own way to soften in its own time. Perhaps the light has softened now, or shifted into colours felt more than seen, or become something you only sense through stillness. And what remains is kind warmth, a warmth that stays steady and held close to the quiet, as though it was always part of this soft comfort, like presence, like breath, like sleep. Perhaps you are already resting in a space where awareness softens, where breath can slow on its own, where sound becomes gentle sensation, and thought becomes drift. Some part of you may still hear these words, while another part can drift gently into dreaming, and you can allow your breath to settle even further now, allowing you to really feel that quiet comfort of the shelter, where feels effortless and steady. And there may only be this now, a space that softens at the edges, just this warmth, this quiet, this feeling of belonging, and perhaps part of you has already drifted even further into a quiet that speaks in something older than words. Sleep well.